Hey guys, it's Matt from Train Sim Society and welcome back to the channel. So we have a lot to talk about today. So moving away from all of the UK stuff, in my opinion, there's a lot of issues. For some, they might seem like smaller issues with the upcoming UK route, West Coast Main Line South. We're gonna be talking about the US now. So Dovetail has released a brand new article called Californian Route for Train Sim World 5. So we are going to dive into that as well as react to a brand new dev diary that was posted. Honestly, I think that we're just going to dive straight into this first before we read the article. So we haven't watched this yet. I don't know what it's going to entail. The first dev diary was kind of just an overview of everything. They covered a little bit from all of the routes as well as the feature set. So I don't know if this is more specific for this brand new US route, which is the San Bernardino line, in case you didn't already know, but we are going to be seeing the preview for that this week. I believe it's on Thursday.
Hello and welcome to the Train Sim World 5 Dev Diaries video series, where we'll be navigating the world of development and how we have created Train Sim World 5. Train Sim World 5 is coming to you on September 17th, and we could not be more excited. In this week's Dev Diary, we're going to be talking about how we are empowering players to customize their experience within Train Sim World 5. We'll be checking in on our development team to find out how they have created some of the amazing new features coming with Train Sim World 5 that will allow you to play the game how you want to play it. So what are we waiting for? Let's hop in.
Okay, he said September 17th. We're already in September. The 17th is exactly 2 weeks away at this point. So I hate to go back to the UK route yet once again, but I'm pretty sure early access is the 12th, right? So that's next week. That's not this coming Thursday. That's next Thursday. I don't think there's going to be virtually any difference between what we saw with the preview for the West Coast Main Line South and the early access. At least I'm praying to God it was like an older, more incomplete timetable, because there was definitely a lot missing on that timetable. But I think that I can say with great certainty that what we do see in the preview for the San Bernardino line, as well as the preview for the Kinzigtalbahn, will likely definitely be what we will see upon launch, since those streams are even closer to the official release of the game. I'm quite used to being let down with US content, so honestly, I'm keeping my expectations pretty low for the San Bernardino line, but who knows, maybe I could end up pleasantly surprised.
When we are looking at the future content for any TSW release, we're looking at what's most requested from the players and also what's going to push us as an engineering team, how we can improve the game to make it as best we can for our players.
I just saw the rail driver there on his desk, and I totally forgot that I have one too. I haven't used it in a minute. I just became really comfortable with using my controller when I play on PC. I just love the haptic support. It just provides like a new level of immersion for me, but just a random thought. I wonder if that is ever going to come out of beta.
Train Sim World 5 is more to do with the collection that you've got, more ways to enjoy it, more gameplay, more tools, and expansions on things which you really already love. It's really kind of looking at what people have been asking for us, and also looking at what people are playing and how they're using Train Sim World 4 and earlier versions, and just trying to build on that experience.
So we start with a big list of every feature that's either been made into previous Train Sim games or something that's in the future list that we want, and then myself, Matt, and other people look at everything and go, what do people want the best out of, or what do people want to play the most from feedback or from the Discord forum, and then we look at that and go, okay, let's take these 5 and then let's figure out what we can do in the short amount of time we have and then make them the best as possible.
This year with Train Sim World 5, we've packed in a ton of new features that we think players are genuinely going to love.
I think my personal favourite is inter-route hopping, because it's something that people I think have been asking for a while, and it's going to make it easier for you to change routes and change trains without having to go out and come back into the game. So if you go to, let's say, London, and you're taking like the West Coast Main Line into London and you want to go to the Brighton route, you can go up to the marker, open the map and say, I want to take this route to Bayonne, and then go all drive to Brighton, instead of going back to the main menu, going through all the steps to find the route that you want to go to and start again. This is all a continuous gameplay loop. So this means there are less breaks in immersion for the players.
Route hopping is so much fun. Stopping, having to go back out to the menu and figure out how to recreate this situation. Route hopping just allows you to naturally say, I want to go here now, and do that.
I think people are going to be enjoying the fact that they'll be able to play different routes while still in the game and not have to move in and out of the game. Players will be able to play the game the way they want to play it.
It's something so small, but I can say I am really excited for route hopping. You don't have to bother going out to the main menu in order to start a service at the same station that you are now, just on a different route. And also even like the fast travel sounds really nice too. I mean, I have God mode, which is a mod for PC players, which kind of allows you to do virtually the same thing, but it's nice that all players, even those on console, will have access to that now.
Updating the map has been probably one of the single most requested features now for quite a few releases, but it's also been probably one of the biggest things we've had to do in this release because it's such a complex piece of code. This time we decided it had to be done. It doesn't tell you where you are. There's no labeling on it at all. And that's probably one of the big updates that's coming in this, is you'll now have that. Signals now tell you which direction they're facing. We've got tooltips which allow you to hover over a signal or a train and get information about that train. So this is the start of a journey with the map, of redeveloping it so that we can now extend it, add it, and use it for additional things in the future. In TSW5, it's going to be about really telling you more about where you are and going to be complementing then some of these other features that are coming along, like rehopping and fast travel.
I will say I was a little disappointed watching the preview stream for West Coast Mainline South, and the reason why is when they went into the 2D map, there really isn't still a way that you could zoom all the way out and see all the AI services and where they are. I was hoping there would, at least be some sort of toggle for that, but that's just a personal wish. Maybe that could be added in at some point, but also he just went on the screen for, free roam. And one thing that I know was requested, because I've seen this literally everywhere on the forums and on social media the past couple of months, basically since we have the ability to place trains down in free roam, which is a brand new game mode that came with Train Sim World 4, that I was hoping they would give us more instructions for that. You can set a train to go from A to B, right? But I wanted them to expand on that more for TSW5 and possibly even set passenger pickup locations so that you could actually see passengers getting on and off the trains. That is if you decide to place a train down in free roam, either in the free roam with nothing else on the route or in free roam that's integrated into the timetable. It would be so cool if you could basically create your own passenger instructions with the free roam mode, but unfortunately that's still not going to be a thing. I guess we can just hope for TSW6 then, right?
Fast travel is one of those features that's taken the beta testers by surprise. What you're now able to do is, using the 2D map or a called up dialog box, you can pick another place and just teleport to that location on the map. If you imagine if you arrived at London Euston Station and you look at the map and you find that actually there's some really cool stuff happening at Bletchley Park, instead of having to come out of the game, remember what time and weather you had and re-jump back in again and hope you got it right, you can just teleport that. All the trains, all the cool stuff that was really there that you wanted to see, you can just go and see, and maybe take that train and drive down to Euston again in a different train. It allows you to just decide what you want to do in one single session. Taking the idea from where it starts to getting it actually out into players' hands. Depending on the range and complexity of the idea, it can be a relatively easy process or an incredibly complicated process. But fundamentally, it all follows the same sort of path, which is to get the idea discussed amongst a group and work out, is this something we think players would want? Test it out on some people, particularly our beta community help us test ideas out, and then we'll flesh it out. They'll then get estimated by the engineering teams and the art teams and everybody that's involved, and they'll then raise any challenges, because it might not be obvious where something might be difficult or there's something actually might be, have you thought about doing this? This will add extra stuff.
I've worked on many games of many genres, so it's probably a few I haven't worked on. But coming to a simulation game development company has been really interesting. Like, we're solving some very unique challenges.
In fast travel, you're jumping to another area of the route, which means everything's got to reinitialize into that area of the route. Passengers aren't already out on the station because you've been in a different part of the route. And in route hopping, you're loading an entirely different route. So there's timing things. What's that going to look like? How would we smoothly get you from one route to another? And it's just been really smoothing out that user interface and user experience.
Working with the team here at Dovetail has been great. Like, the people are really nice, everyone cares about the game, and I hope that shows through to the players and giving the players the best experience we can.
You know, I might get shit for this, but it's just like, these are really nice features. You know, the live map 2.0, the route hopping, the fast travel, but it just sucks that we have to move up to yet another unnecessary reiteration of the same game to have these things. Like, why can't it just be the same train sim world, but they patch these things in, you know? Why do all of these small minor tweaks and improvements have to come with a whole new game of virtually the same game? I can't get over that. I really can't. You know, I think of it from a marketing standpoint. Okay, it makes sense. You're trying to get more players in the game, creating a new title gets the name out there. I get it. But you know, as a player, as a consumer, as someone that is actually buying these games, it's just frustrating. It really is. Also, peep the VR headset there in the back. Hopefully we get official VR in Train Sim World in the future. Not in a standalone game, in actual Train Sim World. The day that comes as official implementation that isn't related to mods of any kind will make me the happiest person alive.
If I was going to describe Train Sim World 5 in 3 words, we've got, what 3 words am I going to use?
Fast.
Got me on the spot now, I can't think of anything.
Tilting.
It's relaxing. I'd say relaxing. It is pretty relaxing.
Fun.
Exciting, refreshed, and immersive.
Super fun. It's really relaxed.
They say that every dev diary, they say immersive, and I get it. Train Sim World is pretty immersive for the most part, but looking at some of the tunnel lighting from West Coast Mainline South preview, lots and lots of missing timetable services. I'm pretty sure I was reading there was more than half missing compared to reality, and the night lighting with tons of missing lights, that is giving the opposite of immersive, in my opinion. There's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done here.
And also it's innovative with what we've done with the technology.
You're really going to love the features that we've got in Train Sim World 5, and I'm certainly really looking forward to seeing your feedback. There's just so much to look at.
Train Sim World 5 is truly the most customizable experience we have delivered yet, and we can't wait for you to try it on September 17th. The rails truly are yours. You can pre-order Train Sim World 5 now with a discount on all platforms. If you pre-order Deluxe or Special Edition, you will also get 5 days early access so you can enjoy Train Sim World 5 before everybody else. Next week, we'll be talking all about innovation and how we're trying to keep up with the fast-paced world of modern trains. See you then.
Okay, so we didn't really learn anything new in this. It's kind of just a reiteration of what we've already learned and what I've already covered here on the channel. It just kind of goes into some more details about, you know, the feature set, or at least some of the feature set, the smaller features to be exact. So let's jump into the article for the brand new route San Bernardino line. Boy, am I excited, but also nervous at the same time. Our expansion into California continues. In TSW5, we branch out of Los Angeles and up to San Bernardino with Metrolink's MP36 locomotive. By the way, this isn't the first time that we're seeing the MP36 in TSW. We saw it previously with what I believe was Caltrain. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I think that's what it was. But it's a whole new version. We have new sounds, we have new physics, and I'm praying to God suspension is launching on this, because even though suspension was promised to us with TSW4, we had to wait until TSW5 to get it for the 4 routes, or the TSW4 trains, I guess I should say. Now we're finding out that one of the locos for TSW5 is not going to have it at launch, so it's looking kind of bad for them there. I'm praying to God that this is not another loco that is having issues, that we will see suspension at launch for. In this article, we'll go into detail on the city-centric desert dicing route and talk more about route hopping, a new feature in TSW5 that will allow you to port between routes that share a common location. The Train Sim World 5 Deluxe and Special Edition players will be able to make use of this eagerly awaited feature from the get-go between San Bernardino line and Cajon Pass, because if you didn't already know, which we've already covered a million times, if you get the Deluxe or Special Editions, for the US content, you're going to get previous released route Cajon Pass. So you're going to be able to jump between stations with that. The route is 57 miles or 92 2 kilometers. We have 16 train stations. This is going to include the Metrolink MP36PH3C and the Metrolink F125, as well as the Rotom cars and cab car. The Bombardier cars are in 2X livery variants.
Bustling city to barren desert. That's how it goes down in California as trains embark on journeys out of LA Union Station. In San Bernardino line, Metrolink trains power through the LA suburbs and out along the east-west route to San Bernardino via 57 miles of track and 15 stations, 16 total. At LA, trains pass by the freeway and run effectively alongside the road traffic before branching out of the city. Built-up residential areas and industry fade out into a landscape of smaller towns served by Metrolink's commuter services, passing by Kaiser Mill and the Auto Club Speedway Station, which only serves passengers on race days. At San Bernardino, both the depot and the station see passenger and freight trains meet. It also forms the location of the brand new route hopping feature, which you can read more about below, available for players with Train Sim World 5, Deluxe Edition, or the Cajon Pass route add-on.
So you don't have to actually get the deluxe or special editions to get the route hopping for this route. If you previously owned Cajon Pass, you're going to have that. This is just meant for if you don't already have Cajon Pass and you're just specifically focusing in on US content for TSW5, then you're going to get that. But if you already own Cajon Pass and you want the route hopping on the San Bernardino line with TSW5, you don't need either of those editions because you're going to have it with Cajon Pass.
Below you can see some comparison shots shared by Kevin, a member of the beta testing team, showcasing the incredible work done by the art and environment teams in order to recreate some of the locations along the route.
So we have the real world Claremont Station alongside the Train Sim World Claremont Station. I'm not gonna lie, the scenery looks pretty good. I mean, I already told you guys I'm going into this with pretty low expectations, especially after the preview stream for West Coast Mainline South. And judging from some of these screens, it looks like they really nailed it. And also the lighting looks really, really good. Real world Cal State LA. I think that's under this overpass here. And then in-game, wow, yeah, they did a really, really good job, which kind of renders me surprised because I feel like a lot of the times with US content, the scenery just isn't up to par, at least in my own personal opinion. You know, everyone's gonna feel differently about that, but with US roots, given this is my country of residence, it matters to me more than anything.
In our August roadmap, part 1, one of our artists, Sam, explained a little more about the variety of locations players can enjoy along the way. Like the previously released London Overground Suffragette line add-on, certain stations along the San Bernardino line will feature working lifts.
That's really cool. You know, it's not something that I think is absolutely necessary. I don't think we need working lifts. I think sometimes Dovetail focuses a little too much on the gimmicks, and then they end up lacking in other departments where it really matters. You know, stuff that actually pertains to the route and the trains and the sounds and the timetable. I don't mind this kind of stuff when everything else is done right. It's this kind of stuff that bothers me when the more crucial, important things for the train sim aspect of the game itself are lacking. So on to the Metrolink MP36PH3C Diesel. I wonder how fast we can go on this route because according to that one map screen, it looked like most of the route was pretty much almost a straight line. So I wonder if we have a lot of like high speed runs on this. I don't really know this route too much in real life.
Newly liveried in Metrolink colors is the sleek MPI MP36 diesel locomotive, often dubbed the Baby Bullet. These powerful machines haul travelers, commuters, and shoppers out of LA using a sustainable biofuel that's 100% renewable and made from recycled natural oils.
Really? I didn't know that. The inside of the cab looks really good though. It definitely looks a lot more polished from the version that we already have in TSW. You know, the Caltrain version. I think they did a really good job. I'm excited to hear the sounds for this and see the physics in action. That is, of course, if it launches with physics, which I am crossing my fingers on.
Though this type of locomotive has been seen in Train Sim World before as a loco add-on for the Peninsula Corridor route, for San Bernardino line, it has been largely rebuilt by our vehicle artists and reflects the changes both inside and outside that differentiate the Caltrain and Metrolink variants.
Okay, so actually rebuilt. I definitely feel a lot better about this. And obviously we already had the Metrolink F125, so I'm assuming we're just getting like a new variation of this loco made specifically for this route. I don't remember if the F125 for the Antelope Valley line ended up getting the suspension, but I'm assuming that the version for the San Bernardino line will launch with that, or at least I hope.
Joining the action is the F125 Spirit locomotive, seen in the previously released Antelope Valley line route. Unique to Metrolink, the F125 is a relatively recent addition to the USA's wide variety of diesels, being built between 2015 and 2021. Like the MP36, its streamlined nose reflects the need to whisk passengers between stations on the line at speeds of up to 79 miles per hour, rather than the sharp angles seen on most freight-hauling diesel locomotives. The Metrolink EMD F125 diesel locomotive is included in Train Sim World 5's San Bernardino line route. Players do not need to own previously released content to access this train. The audio for both of these locomotives were captured during last year's audio recording trip to Los Angeles, as featured in our Dev Diary series. Adam explains more about how the team were able to utilize a non-revenue train that was arranged especially for Dovetail games to capture everything they needed to recreate the audio in-game.
And you know, I was pretty blown away with the audio for the F125, so I definitely am pretty confident in the MP36, but you're not going to need the Antelope Valley line for this, so they're including that same loco with this brand new route, the San Bernardino line, which is nice. They right here speeds up to 79. I wonder why they don't go above 80. I know I've read it somewhere, but I'm assuming that a lot of this trip is probably going to be up to those speeds. All right, so bi-level cab cars and Hyundai Rotem commuter cars.
Accommodating Metrolink's passengers are two styles of commuter cars. This is also where you might be spending a lot of time in Train Sim World 5's new conductor mode feature, allowing you to take on the role of conductor in service mode for the first time. The Bombardier bi-level coaches will be familiar to commuter rail users across other parts of the USA and feature in variants forms across other Train Sim World route add-ons, such as Peninsula Corridor. In San Bernardino line, these will come in two liveries. Passengers can choose to admire the views from upstairs or stay cool in air-conditioned comfort down below.
Yeah, I think the lighting on this is really good. This looks fantastic. I'm also just really excited too for the improved track shadows. Probably one of my biggest gripes in Train Sim World overall, but with that issue at least seeming fixed for the most part, it's going to be a lot better. I did notice in the preview stream for West Coast Mainline South, the new improved track shadows wasn't really working over junctions, so it's going to be a little jarring when you go over those points, but on everything else, straight pieces of track, it seems to really work well. I wonder if they could ever, fix it so it does work with junctions or not.
In the vestibules, the conductor panel features buttons required to operate the doors as part of conductor mode. These buttons flip round when they are unlocked. As mentioned in our previous UK-focused article, notifying the engineer of the all clear is done by blowing the conductor's whistle by pressing the horn key/button. The main difference with these Metrolink variants is the absence of a cab car. Whilst the cab remains physically in the car, they've been sealed off, as they are in reality and cannot be used in operation on this line.
Wait a minute. So you can't actually drive the trains backwards in the cab car on this line? Wait, I'm confused. Is that only an Antelope Valley line thing? The details on the track look so good. I really hope this wasn't edited in post or enhanced by any means, but look at the ballast. That looks so good. Oh my gosh, I thought that this would end up being the sham of all three routes, and watch this end up being one of my favorites, surprisingly.
Instead, these sets have the Hyundai Rotem cab car, which was first introduced to Train Sim World with the Antelope Valley line. These allow for push-pull operation with both of the diesel locomotives. Cab cars as a concept are more popular in the US and Europe than they are in places like the UK, and allow for the engineer to operate the locomotive from the opposite end of the train.
Okay, so I'm just guessing it's a different version of the cab car because they have here Hyundai Rotem cab car. So I'm assuming that you can use the cab car, it's just a different cab car. I'm a little confused by that. Maybe one of you guys can help clear that up with me in the comments. Of course, we have BNSF freight, but it's only if you have Cajon Pass. If you already have it, you don't need the deluxe or special editions. But if you don't have Cajon Pass, if you get the deluxe or special editions, it's going to bundle with it. And then with that, you're going to have freight, and I'm hoping we have a playable layers too, and it's not just AI stuff.
The Cajon Pass route add-on brings freight to the scene with bright orange BNSF locomotives, making use of an additional 85 miles of track between San Bernardino and Barstow, as well as additional service layers on the San Bernardino line. Cajon Pass sees the landscape become barren and daunting with challenging gradients and twisting curves. The route tests both the horsepower and stopping power of long, heavy freight trains in a style of operation very different to that of Metrolink's stop-start passenger trains. Cajon Pass and BNSF locomotives are included in Train Sim World 5 Deluxe/Special Edition, or are available to players that previously owned the Cajon Pass route add-on.
Not them making a whole bit about the Cajon Pass route like by itself. Like, come on, we've already had this. Like, it already exists. You don't need to like make a whole little bit about that route to try to sell this. They could have just given us something like completely new. You know, like UK gets the Pendolino and Germany gets the Vectron Flix train in the DB versions. Not, I guess, entirely new, but slightly new. Whereas this is just something we already had. You know, a little disappointing, but what can you do? I'm just happy that we will have additional service layers though for freight on the San Bernardino line. So that'll help liven up the timetable a little bit and at least give you a little more gameplay, you know? All right, so on to timetables, layers, scenario, and gameplay.
The types of services available to operate in service mode include Metrolink and P36PH 3C and F125 locomotives hauling eastbound services out of LA Union Station, cab car controlled services leading westbound services from San Bernardino downtown, non-revenue trains within both the Central Maintenance Facility, CMF, and Eastern Maintenance Facility, EMF. Players will be able to choose from 2 timetables in the main menu, a weekday timetable and a weekend timetable.
What? We get 2 timetables? That's kind of cool. I'm assuming the weekday timetable is going to be busier, and I'm assuming the weekend timetable is probably going to be less busy in terms of passenger, but more freight stuff. I hope that we still have freight stuff happening during the weekday timetable though, but that's really cool that we're going to have 2 different timetables for this. Wow, not us getting 2 timetables for the US route, but then the UK timetable being half missing or more than half missing. I don't know. I read somewhere on the forums that like only a quarter of a specific type of service was represented, which I thought was absolutely crazy. Again, I don't know too much about UK stuff, UK trains, UK timetables, but just reading some of that, I was like, oh wow. Like I honestly understand the outrage now at this point because that's very incomplete. But 2 timetables for this, that sounds pretty awesome. Yeah, I think they did a really good job here. The stations look well modeled. We have the handicap ramp, the trees and the bushes along the fence look good. We've got some buildings in the background. I don't know, guys. I think I'm actually kind of excited for this one. And I hate being excited for things, especially before we get our preview stream, because then we start noticing some of the glaring issues which usually occur on routes, and then the hype and excitement goes pew. But I'm trying to manage my expectations. I'm excited, but I'm remaining cautious, and I think that you guys should too. Honestly, anytime they announce new content.
The weekday timetable will focus on the running of regular passenger services. Many of these services will run the full length of the line, though certain services have been split into 2 separate services in-game to allow for short gameplay sessions. Services will end partway along the line, whereby players can continue to operate the remainder of the service or allow the AI to take over.
I do like when they divide stuff into 2 parts like that. You know, not everyone wants to jump in the game and play for an hour or an hour and a half. Sometimes people only have 15 or 20 minutes or, you know, even 30 minutes. Or even if you do have time, but you just want to play part of it and then do something else, you can do that. I like having the option. You know, if you want to play the whole thing, when you finish the service, you can just sit in the cab and wait because your cab's already set up. Just wait for it to continue, you know? I do really like that. I hope they keep splitting it up like that.
The weekend timetable utilizes service layers from Cajon Pass to shift the focus to freight, with less passenger services than the weekday timetable. Of the passenger trains that do run, some are the race day services to Auto Club Speedway. Both timetables will feature non-revenue Metrolink services at CMF and EMF, as well as switching services using Cajon Pass layers at both San Bernardino and Kaiser Yard.
Okay, I am pretty happy with the way that this is sounding, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, it's just what I expected. The weekend is gonna be more freight focused, which is what I expected, but I like that there's variation here with that. You know, you can choose between the 2. And non-revenue Metrolink. for both weekend and weekday. I really like that. All right, so additional service layers.
Freight and switching services are playable for those that own the Cajon Pass route add-on, which is available separately or as part of Train Sim World 5 Deluxe. Union Pacific locomotives at Lac Intermodal Yard will be available for players with a Sherman Hill route add-on.
And there is also an AI rail tour service visible for players that own the Santa Fe F7 Loco add-on. So I'm assuming you won't be able to play it, but I guess you'll be able to watch it. I guess it brings some more traffic onto the route. I won't complain about that. All right, let's see what's gonna be happening with 8th gen console. You guys know my thoughts on it, okay? I'm not trying to be mean, but 8th gen consoles, they do hold the game back, okay? So I do expect that they will get less than, 9th gen consoles and of course PC.
8th generation console services. After reviewing performance on previous generation consoles, we've amended the timetable to provide a suitable experience for these players, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. As a result, the following gameplay will not be available for the route. A selection of playable freight service layers.
AI Freight Service.
Santa Fe F7 AI Rail Tour. All available freight formations will also be shorter in length.
Okay, so you're going to get freight, it's just going to be limited, which honestly, I thought that they would just do away with the freight completely, so I guess that's better than the alternative. You're not gonna get the rail tour. At least you'll be able to play some of the freight. You won't be able to see AI freight though on the route, which honestly makes sense. Again, these consoles are older, they can't handle the demand and the amount of memory that the game requires in order to show all of these layers and have all of this available. So I don't hold that against them at all. I completely understand it. If anything, I'm just more surprised why at this point they haven't dropped support for 8th gen consoles. And I'm assuming that they're probably a big moneymaker for them. So they probably have to cater to them, in all honesty. Until enough of those players are upgrading to the latest gen console, they're probably going to keep supporting 8th gen for a while. All right, scenarios and gameplay. Oh, that crossing looks kind of messy though. This was kind of my gripe on the Antelope Valley line. Like, why does it like bump down like that in the center and then bump back up? And it's just, I don't know, it just looks so like clunky. It's not smooth, like in real life it'd be more smooth. Sometimes the crossings just look very like rushed.
A total of 5 scenarios are available in San Bernardino line. These are Raceway, featuring race day at Auto Club Speedway. Depot Days, featuring depot movements. Eye of the Storm, where severe weather has caused damage to infrastructure. Rescue at the Ranch, which involves rescuing another service. Graduation Day, which requires moving passengers at Cal State LA Station.
5 scenarios? Come on, we need the standard at this point to be 8, Other countries, other territories, other routes. You notice the standard is like 6 to 8 now. So like, why are we getting 5 scenarios for the US? Come on now. Why aren't we getting more? Give us the full thing. Oh, it's getting frustrating, but what can you do?
The proximity of the racetrack at Auto Club Speedway and the station that is served on race days can be filled out by unlocking the scenery tile as part of this route's mastery challenges. Mastery challenges require you to perform certain tasks on a route, like completing certain scenarios or traveling a certain number of miles in a specific locomotive. Tier 1 challenges unlock decals for use in Livery Designer. Tier 2 challenges unlock toggleable scenery tiles.
This whole section's about route hopping. We've already gone over this a million times. They've even talked about it a million times, so I doubt we're gonna learn anything new here with this section.
At San Bernardino, players with Train Sim World 5 Deluxe/Special Edition or Cajon Pass will be able to use a brand new feature, route hopping. A visible portal will be available at San Bernardino Depot Station that players can interact with to instantly travel between the 2 routes. Time of day and weather are preserved, enabling players to continue their journey as seamlessly as possible without having to go back into the main menu.
I like the route hopping idea, but I kind of want them to go a little bit further with it. Like, obviously, to actually route hop, you have to go to that little like highlighted bubble that's in the station. It'd be so cool if, let's say you were on the San Bernardino line and you were taking a westbound service back to LA and you finished in LA. Instead of getting out of your train and going into that highlighted cone or bubble or whatever it is on the platform, and then moving to the new route, which I guess spawns you in back on the platform, it would be cool if I could get out of that service and go into a train that is for the Antelope Valley line, sit in the chair, and then route hop after I sit in the chair, and then it loads me into the service while inside the train that I would be taking on the Antelope Valley line. Okay, I know that was a lot, but if you get my point, you get my point. I really want to see like something like that too, instead of having to route hop on the platform. I know it sounds like stupid and picky, but that would make it feel even more immersive, at least for me.
As part of the core updates and features in Train Sim World 5, we have also enabled this function across as many back catalog routes as we can, including Antelope Valley Line. This means that players with all 3 Californian routes across Los Angeles and San Bernardino County can operate services from Lancaster through to Los Angeles and out to San Bernardino by using the portal at LA Union Station, and then continue onwards using freight services from San Bernardino to Barstow, a total of over 200 miles without returning to the main menu screen. There'll also be a portal at the Central Maintenance Facility, CMF, to allow route hopping between San Bernardino Line and Antelope Valley Line for players that own it.
I do like that we're gonna get that extra route hopping point, but I'm not surprised by that last sentence in the first paragraph. A total of over 200 miles without returning to the main menu screen. That's a good way to sell it. See, that's marketing, you know? For people that hate going back to the main menu and back into the game, this is probably gonna end up being one of your favorite things. They're not wrong though. You do still have to hit loading screens though. Remember that, it's not eliminating that entirely. So route hopping for US content. Between San Bernardino and Antelope Valley, we have LA Union and CMF, and from the San Bernardino line to Cajon Pass, we have San Bernardino Depot. New York Trenton, Long Island Railroad, and the Harlem line are all going to connect Grand Central Terminal and Penn Station. So I'm not gonna lie, I do really like that because New York Trenton is my favorite route in the game just because it's not really my home route, but closest to my home route. And also, I just love NEC stuff. They do right here will also be exploring other route hopping locations with future content, including MBTA Commuter, which was announced in our latest roadmap. Oh, I hope you do more than exploring. We better actually see it. I mean, this is a TSW5 feature, so I don't want to see this abandoned now. Come on, we don't want you guys to give another feature the abandoned treatment. I'm talking about Steam. Whatever happened to that? They also show route hopping here for European content as well as for UK content. So the preview stream for San Bernardino is when? It's in 47 hours, so it's in 2 days. September 5th, what's today? Tuesday. Okay, so it's Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking this out. You bet your ass I am. So that's gonna conclude things for this video. Let me know down below what you guys think of these new details for the US route, San Bernardino line, the route hopping. I feel like there really wasn't much new stuff in this article, at least stuff that we didn't already know that I haven't covered on the channel previously, but I guess we learned a little more in terms of layers and gameplay scenarios. So share all of your thoughts down below. I think I honestly am looking forward to this one more than the UK one, and it surprises me to say that just because I feel like the UK one is gonna be a little bit of a letdown. Again, this is just speculation, but I kind of believe that Rivet likely had something to do with the UK route given their reputation of putting out subpar content, but that's just speculation. I just feel like if it was all Dovetail, it would have been done a lot better. That's gonna be it for me for this video. Of course, thank you guys for clicking and watching and checking it out. If you found it entertaining and or informative, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you are notified of any future uploads on the channel. Take care and happy rail simming, everyone.